I'm honored to stand here once again in Haifa, the home of Israel's blue economy. I want to thank the National Center for Blue Economy, Hila, Iris, and the team, and the Benny Moran team for this opportunity. Each year we gather, and each year we see the progress, how the industry matures, how the ecosystem connects, and how Israel positions itself as the center of global innovation map. In 2023, I spoke here about the vision, the launch of the AquaculTech community, the beginning of a joint journey. In 2024, we mapped the infrastructure, researchers, grant, pilot opportunities, and global collaboration. And today, in 2025, I want to focus on what comes next. We already know what is possible. The real question is, how do we scale? How do we do it fast enough? First, we must recognize AI as a fundamental tool in managing and analyzing data in blue food, and in monitoring aquaculture, animal health, and welfare, in optimizing production, efficiency, and sustainability. Second, we must deepen our global collaborations. Food security, water security, and climate change are global challenges, and solutions must cross borders. Israel is already a hub of innovation, but partnerships we build today will determine the speed and real-world impact. Doing so these days might feel impossible, but it is. Coming back yesterday from Tokyo, I want to say that if anybody wants to isolate himself and stay in the dark, he can do it, but we won't. Third, we must strengthen the link between science and industry. Our researchers in Israel have breakthrough knowledge, but only create value when it's translated into product, startups, scalable technologies. That means more proof of concept labs, more test beds, more pilots program, and industry partners. And finally, we must remember why we do all of this. The blue food is not just a business. It's about feeding growing population with fewer resources. It's about sustainability. It's about building resilient future for our children. Haifa, with the National Center for Blue Economy, has become the stage for blue economy in Israel. Eilat, with innovation, the National Innovation Center, has become the hub for aquaculture. Year after year, progress after progress, we see together we can make Israel a global leader in blue innovation, and more importantly, a force for good in the world. Israel needs to get back from captivity. Israeli that needs to get back from the captivity for us all to have a happy new year. Let's start. I would love each and every one of you to present himself and tell us a little bit about your work in blue economy, aquaculture, and water technologies. Dudi, you can start.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Dudi, or David. I'm heading innovation at Mekorot. Mekorot is the national water company in Israel. So what we do, we invest in technologies, either is startups, entrepreneurs, ideas. So either through equity investing or R&D, piloting. That's basically what I do. Yeah.
Nitzan?
Yes, so I'm representing Hatch Blue. Originally, we are an investment and consultative firm. We have different business units sitting around the world. We have offices in Norway, in Berlin, in Ireland, in Hawaii, and Singapore. And we are investing in everything related to aquaculture and alternative proteins from the sea, all across the value chain. And we consult private and public investors, corporates, NGOs, from the Cargills of the world, through WWF, Conservation International, through small startups. We are investing through our 6 investment vehicles, from pre-seed to seed to round A, usually, and also delivering programs worldwide, innovation programs, blue carbon, accelerator programs. We have also our own accelerator running for the 6th year now. And finally, I managed to bring an Israeli company in our accelerator, C Corp. They are presenting here. And we also have the fish site under our management. That's the biggest news and media platform around aquaculture in the world, so many different activities.
Thank you. Ron?
My name is Ron Stern. I have two hats that I'm sitting here on this panel today. One is I'm an advisor to a fund called Tau Capital, TAU Capital, which has nothing to do with the Tel Aviv University, as everybody thinks. It's an Abu Dhabi-based deep tech fund that made 6 investments in Israel, about half of the portfolio. One of them happens to be a company that I'm chairman of. That's the other hat. It's a company called Blue Green Water Technologies, which basically helps clear away blue-green algae, which is a big contaminant of fresh water and red tide in the oceans. And we do that using nanotechnology of nanoencapsulation and also satellite and drone imagery in a way that brings AI to help solve problems in the blue economy. So thank you for the opportunity to be here.
Thank you. David, what are the main global challenges when you see the next innovation opportunities in water technologies?
Okay, so the challenges the global challenges in water are quite immense. Okay, so there's not enough supply to meet demand, and it's getting worse, as you know, globally on average. So the challenges, is deploying desalination at scale, deploying water reuse, recycling water from wastewater to affluent water to reclaimed water. That's the challenge, and the challenges didn't change much. I mean, there's the leakage problem or non-revenue water, where water is getting lost on the way, and then it kind of disrupt the whole business model of water. It can be emerging contaminants like PFAS. PFAS is something that everybody talks about. It's a forever chemicals that is a real pain. It's very hard to get rid of them. They are, they're very stable, and they cause really bad things like cancer and so on. But there's the microplastics and there's the antibiotics. There are a lot of contaminants in water. So the challenges are still there in water, and they are diverse, and they are big challenges. I think the opportunities in terms of perspective, let's say an investment perspective, I would go for the digital opportunities. So water is a traditional industry waiting to be disrupted, and I think riding on the AI trend, there's so much things that you can do on the, let's call it, on the equipment supply chain, because as an infrastructure, you have so many components on the OT, from the sensors, from the edge, then the controllers, the SCADA, all the systems are waiting to be disrupted. So there's a lot of opportunities to integrate new technologies there, get the efficiencies, get better management, get energy efficiencies even. So I see an opportunity on the digital aspects in water infrastructure.
Thank you. Nitzan, from the aquaculture side, what challenges and opportunities do you see, especially around the climate change and decarbonization?
So in aquaculture, first in the previous session, the one before that, Ricardo talked about the problem in wild fishery. And I think obviously aquaculture is the solution. I think last year was the first year that aquaculture passed fishery from world production of seafood. So that's a good sign in the good direction to have more protein from the sea in a more sustainable way, because aquaculture, I don't think there's a lot of doubt that it's the most sustainable way to produce protein, better than cows, sheep, pigs, whatever. If you look at the FCR, the feed conversion ratio, where cows are 1:7, and pigs are 1:4, chicken 1:3, something like that, fish is the closest to 1:1. So 1 kilogram of feed for 1 kilogram of meat. And so if you look at the rest of the supply chain and the feed that going into that industry, obviously it's much more sustainable. And there's a lot of problem within aquaculture. I think the biggest aquaculture in the public view is the perception we have on fish welfare and how fish are being raised. We see now in Canada they are trying to take out all of the sea cages and from the water and move into inland because they see aquaculture as a polluting industry. I don't know any industry who is not polluting, but there's a way to look at that. And within aquaculture, we're trying to find the best way and the best practices and the best technologies in order to mitigate that narrative and also to mitigate that pollution. And we see mixed trends of production going into inland production because aquaculture is, of course, it's not only fish, it's not only salmon, it's shrimp, it's microalgae, it's seaweed, it's inland production, it's tank production, earthen ponds production, offshore production. So there's a lot of way to look at it. It's not aquaculture per se, a specific production system. But we do see opportunities in way to improve production, to minimize the use of antibiotics or treatment within the fish industry, within the aquaculture industry and the production. And there's still ways to improve technology. Let's say now, in the past 5 to 10 years, there was a big gold rush for the RAS system, for the recirculating aquaculture system, and now we see it's still not there yet in terms of economics and also in terms of the production costs, the CAPEX and the OPEX. So there's a lot of companies trying to find different solutions, different filters, different way of using the water, if you're talking about water usage, to have it much more efficient. And I think in Israel, there are also a lot of companies doing great work in that direction. And
can you take that to AI, the game changer of AI with the aquaculture?
I have, I think, a less popular opinion about AI.
So never mind.
No, but there's a lot of room to use AI in different applications in aquaculture and in biomass estimation cameras, in production models, in digital twins for farms, increasing production efficiency, early detection for disease, water quality management. There is no doubt that AI can improve production. But I think we are skipping a step here, and the AI products are moving much faster than the farmers or the people who are engaging with aquaculture can absorb. Aquaculture is still a little bit, not old-fashioned, but conservative maybe, and they're doing that for many, many years, and they reached a certain point that they know how to do things. They're trying to improve all the time, but AI requires a lot of data and a lot of good data. And most aquaculture production still facing the challenge of getting the data, storing the data, cleaning the data, labeling the data. There's so much work behind just to be AI ready and AI solution ready. And this step is a little bit skipped, I think, and there's still a lot of work helping companies to be data driven or data first before they can implement this great AI solution.
Thank you. By the way, you mentioned the feed ratio and actually different seafood like shellfish, shrimp did reach 1-to-1 ratio. So it's in aquaculture the best solution for sustainability in animal-based protein production.
I agree, and that's the seaweed and the shellfish, which are referred to as regenerative aquaculture, which is even more sustainable.
Thank you. Ron, as an investor, what do you look for in startups today? And what advice would you give entrepreneurs raising money for these fields?
So I think what we look for, and this is across all fields, is, you know, great teams, large TAM, and ability to quickly go to market and affect outcomes. I think with respect to water and aquaculture, I agree with what David and Nitzan said here. It's one of the slowest moving industries in the world, and it's that for very good reason. There's tremendous responsibility that has to do with supplying water to people and to agriculture, and the risks associated with changing things or moving to new technologies are huge, and people are very, very conservative. And that's why, from an investor standpoint, I think it's not the technology that you should look at, but the ability of the team to sell that technology to the customer. And in many cases, what we like to see is that there are people on the team that have spent, at least a good part of their career dealing with the problem and not with the solution, and they understand how to create a solution that can solve a real life problem and not something that's just a good technology.
Thank you.
Which is something that we look for.
To summarize this session, I would love to hear from each and every one of you just a few words on how does your organization plan to implement AI in your area?
I mean, for us, we've been going through this digital revolution for a few years. So we have so much data coming in, really like an ocean of data that we don't really know what to do with it. We think that AI application, and that's what is AI, but we're not going to get into that. But I think those applications can help us kind of harness this data and yield some good efficiencies, some good insight about this, about what we need. So Mekorot, for example, we are now managing all of the national water system from one control and command room in Tel Aviv, with 3 people during the weekend. So this is a lot due to the ability to actually integrate those technologies and manage the system remotely. So I do think that there is a lot of value in continuing and improving those technologies and adopting them. I think it can really get us forward fast and in a resilient way. Because you see what's going on here in the past 2 years. If you have the ability to be resilient and control everything from far, it's a plus. It's a big plus.
Thank you.
So, from an investment and advisory point of view, we implement some AI tools internally for to better streamline our work. But I would like to maybe talk about how we view investment in AI and the kind of companies that we think could make it. And I think I'm allergic to the term AI. Sorry to say that again, because it's getting thrown around and we are abusing that. And actually, we have been doing what we call now AI for 10, 20 years. And different algorithms and different products are already doing what we are now saying it's AI, which is not. But anyway, we would like to see solutions to problems that doesn't have any other solution. We see a lot of companies trying, maybe there's one example of a company that tried to detect oxygen levels from the fish with the lip movement of the fish, and trying to use computer vision and complicated algorithm to understand when will be a drop in the oxygen. Where I can solve that in a $200 oxygen sensor. I don't need these complicated AI algorithms to tell me that I'm reaching 1.5 oxygen. It's already too late. So we are looking for a kind of solution that can really solve a problem that there is no other solution to.
I think I agree first that AI is getting way too overused. In our view, AI in many companies, some companies don't need AI if they're just doing, things that are not necessarily going to be conducive. But the companies that do have that application, I think it's going to be part of every company, just like the .com initially was only some companies, and then now everybody has a website. So in the same way, I think most companies are going to use AI, and you need to separate between where it's really needed and where it's unique. That's how I see it.
Thank you very much for being here with me, and thank you all for listening.